Hey, how you doing? This is Barry Beats and welcome to my School of Beats. In this episode, I'm going to be taking apart a beat you might already have heard. It's one of the beats I used in the Rhythm Roulette video. It's the one where I'm searching for the records. Here we go. Okay, so I don't know if you remember that one, but it's quite a basic beat. Although there's lots of chops in it, there aren't that many elements, so I'm going to break down the elements. Obviously the main two are the drums and the music. I usually start with drums. I know some people start with the music, but as a golden rule, I've always tended to start with drums. I think in the case of this track, I had the sample. I knew that I wanted to use the sample, so I had to think, what sort of drums will go with that sample? Quite riffy ones, cheeky drums. So I reached for some drums I've used before. They're really great. They are on this 7-inch single, which was a promotional 7-inch given out when the Sound Library Records opened in New York. I went there when they first opened and was given a few copies of this. And it's just full of drums. It's fantastic. So let me quickly find the drums. I'll play you the original beat. Bear with me.
Beat number 47, 3 and 4 and.
Okay, I'm sure you'll agree, some pretty tasty drums, really funky, riffy, groovy drums. In fact, what I'll do, because I'm very thoughtful and kind like that, I will upload a selection of those drums and stick them up there for you to peruse yourself and check out. So then I put it into Contact, my sampler of choice, and chopped it. Now with these drums, because I want to maintain the feel of the playing, because that's the main thing here, I chopped them into, I think, quarter bars. So I think I'm better off just playing them. And it means you can then rearrange it any way you want. So you've got full freedom to basically reprogram the drums however you want. I then just did a quick sequence in Pro Tools. Let me play it for you. There we go. So I had like a rough guide to go by, and I think at that point, if I remember rightly, I started putting the music in. So that's what I do quite often. I won't go mad with the drums. I'll just get them in there to give me a feel, and then when I put the music in, and whatever patterns and programs I come up with, the chopping of the music will dictate how I will then reprogram the drums over the music. So I think that's what I did in this case. I had the sample and I knew I'd use the sample, so it was something I actually borrowed. I can't even show you the record because I borrowed it off my very good friend Dren Throwdown. If you haven't seen any of his stuff, I'll put a link up here, so click on that and you'll be able to check out some of Dren's amazing material. But basically he played me this record and it had a classic track on called Spanish Flea. I think it's a Herb Alpert track. But the actual sound of it I loved. It had this amazing guitar sound in it and it was just really groovy and just had this great sound about it. So I thought I'd have a crack at it, see what I could extract from it. I'll actually play you the sample first so you know what I'm talking about. Where is it? Whistles. Just so many different chops there to go. I hear music like this and I just hear the little elements and think, wow, I can have some fun here. So obviously that's exactly what I did. I took that sample and, well, look what happened. How you do it. I mean, that's how I do most of my beats. I just chop it into oblivion, and when you've got all the little elements, combine them, play them on the keyboard, see what happens. But with this one, I just thought the do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. What if I was to take those two parts and use the first bit do-do-do-do-do-do for the first two bars, and then on the second two bars do-do-do-do-do-do, and that's kind of what I did. So where are they? Let me find them quickly. Okay, here they are. So we got so that was my concept. That's what I was thinking. I'll use those two bits and then put the other riffy bits and the funky bits in between to see what happens. So then I just literally looped that up and just started jamming some of the other sections and seeing which bits worked. Okay, so you get the idea. Pretty much, as you can hear, there's lots of different possibilities, and that's what you want. I mean, there's nothing better than chopping up a sample and having just loads of different ways of flipping it and arranging it. And that was certainly the case with this. So then basically I just started building 4-bar sequences, went through all the different sections of the sample, made lots of different variations. Let me see, here's probably one of the first ones I came up with. Okay, I was quite happy. I probably had about, I don't know, 12 different 4-bar sequences, and then I think I went back and thought, well, can I get the drums to match better, especially with the little bit. So I started playing with some different drum programs. So should we have a little listen to the different drum arrangement? So now the pattern's better. It's time to get the drums sounding fatter. I don't think I did a great deal of layering with these actually. Let's have a look. What have we got here? Okay, so I've got a layered kick drum. If you have a listen, you can probably hear it. There it is, isolated. It's a nice kick. It's got a bit of sub on it and a bit of punch. Quite often I'll find a subby kick and a punchy kick, EQ them separately and put them together. But no, with this one I found a all-encompassing kick, and it just seemed to fit rather well. Right, what other layers are on the drums? Okay, so the other layer is the hat layer. So, and as you can hear, it's quite a bright hat. So what I'm trying to do is add a little bit of nice sparkle to the drums. And I have to say, it's not even sampled. I think it's just a stock hi-hat that comes with Pro Tools in the Expand sample pack. I think I'll probably just put it in there as a guide and kept it. What I'll do now is I will bring the hat in so you can hear exactly what it does. With them in, so you can hear they really just sort of bring the drums to life. And that's the job really of layering drums. It's to kind of make them fuller. You can play with panning, effects, reverbs, but it generally just sort of does enhance the original drum sample. Okay, so with all the layers together, the drums are sounding pretty fat. Oh, before I forget, always the icing on the cake, forgot about the bass line. Now, there's very few tracks I produce that don't have a bass line, but in this one it was quite a basic one. In fact, it didn't take me long to do at all. Sometimes it can take me days if it's a complex track to get the perfect bass in there. But with this one, the bass line took me all of 5-10 minutes. I'm going to solo the bass so you can hear it. So it's like an electric piano bass that I've used, and I've not gone mad with it. I've literally just put it on the first accent bits. So we'll put it together and have a listen. Let's unsolo it. Music so you can hear it on its own. So that's the bass line. Okay, I think that's about it for this track. You've got basically the drums with the drum layers. You've got all the different arrangements of the sample chopped up, and you've got the bass line. But the main thing was just chopping the sample up, using the and the as the main accents, and then using all the other sample elements in between there. And it gives a continuity, but at the same time lots of entertainment value. And it's very cheeky, you know, that's the thing I liked about this. It's quite a comedic, cheeky little number. What I'll do is I'll put a link up. There's a link right there. So press on that link and you'll get the whole track to listen to, and you can hear exactly what I've done. But yeah, thank you very much for taking the time to listen to this. It's Barry's School of Beats, and don't worry, there'll be plenty more. I'll be breaking down other tracks, probably more complex tracks than this, for your listening pleasure and entertainment purposes. Okay, take care. See you later.